Welcome to Pluribussin, the officially unofficial podcast for Pluribus on Apple TV Plus. I'm Jim.
I'm Aaron.
And we are back for episode 7 of season 1, titled The Gap. Aaron, were you in the writer's room last week? Were you in there, like, swapping out their note cards with things about, I don't know, Ewan McGregor and no highways between countries here? What happened? Because this is exactly what you said should happen.
Dude, I was pleasantly, because like I actually was from a place of confidence that everyone would know. Because like, again, if you'd asked me before I watched that special, can you just drive from, my house down to the Cape of Good Hope or whatever the fuck it is down there at the end of Chile? I'd be like, of course you can. Mm-hmm. Of course you can. Are you kidding me? There's no way. There's no way Canada and the United States are going to be not connected by a highway system to South America. No fucking way. Turns out we're not. Turns out we're not at all. It's like a legendarily disconnected stretch of the thing. And I was thinking, like, I wonder if they've remembered that, because that would be, again, I don't think it would destroy my enjoyment of the show if Manussos just drove up there. But but then, I saw the title of this episode, The Gap. Oh boy, Vince Gilligan did not forget. In fact, like, when that Pluribus came out, to like, please, Mr. Manussos, if you go, like, he's essentially reading the first paragraph of Wikipedia's entry on the Darien Gap. Literally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, it was really, really, and guess the other thing is, if you thought like there's no roads connecting, you'd be like, okay, it's a tough hike, but whoop-de-doo. Yeah. Man, there is bad bugs and snakes and diseases, and the terrain is difficult, and the worst part in present day is it's also ran by a bunch of violent gangs and paramilitary groups. Sure. In there too, But yeah, I was very satisfied by the gap action we got in this episode. Very, very thrilled. Man. Yeah.
Yeah. But aside from that, what do you think of the episode?
The big thing in my head was spinning is I've talked about the Christ imagery around Manussos. I think I said this when we first saw him. It's like, it's interesting. He was missing for 33 hours. That's how old Jesus was when he died. 3 days is how many days he spent in the tomb. Even Manussos, like I found out, is a Latin corrupted through Greek, corrupted through Spanish. That is a reference to Emmanuel, which is one of the titles or names that Christ was prophesied to have. It means God is with us. And now this week, I saw this guy get tempted 3 times. I saw this guy sleeping in a church. I see this guy, caressing the symbol of a saint that is associated with getting people out of purgatory. And I'm like, where are they? So Manussos is a Christ figure. What does that make Carol? But also, like, you can see the bones of Manusso being a proper villain too. Like, he's way more extreme than Carol is. I think he might be the most interesting character, like side character I've seen since like the dog catcher in season 1 of The Leftovers. Where it's like the side character just kind of pops up, and like I said, I could see him going full blown Patty before this is over. I thought this episode was incredible. I know that it is also extremely slow paced and indulgent because they are having you live through these people's experiences. You don't need no one, like, if anyone ever asks, well, why is Manussos so stubborn? Why is he? Like, I'll say you're a dumbass and throw you off my podcast, because this episode was designed to show you that this man will not stop at anything save death if he's got his mind set on it. And he is
not even
uncompromising. And yeah, like they're saying something about him, and they're kind of saying the opposite about Carol. If I take him at their face value, that Carol will bend. Carol will sacrifice her principles because she is desperate for human contact and so it's like, to me, I like that they spent a whole episode drawing this very interesting contrast between these two people who are certainly going to be central figures moving forward in the story, probably for the run of the series. But also, it'd probably take me 45 seconds to recap the episode if I just told you what happened, because
yeah, there are essentially three scenes. There's the Carol scene, the Menuso scene, and another Carol scene.
Then Carol bookends it. Her her post-apocalyptic fucking around, and then Menusos 40 days of wandering the wilderness, being tempted by the deceiver. Because like that's the other thing. When the second time I watched it, when I realized that they carefully established that this was exactly 40 days and 40 nights, which is exactly how long. Because when we went back to see him get the message and leave, they rolled back to 8 days, right? And at the end of this episode, we're at 48 days. That's how long Jesus spent 40 days wandering the wilderness, being tempted by the devil. I'm just saying, again, it could just be thematic, metaphor, but I think they're building something here, and I'll talk about it when we get into the Menuso scene. Jim, how'd this episode grab you?
It could also be something they're going to subvert later, much like they did the HDP.
Actually, not to spoil myself later in this episode, but I think he's got some Antichrist imagery.
Oh, okay. So I'm less enamored with this episode. I don't think it's indulgent in the way that sometimes the Villa gang can get indulgent. But I do think it made its point a few times over for each of these characters. And I don't know that I needed that much, but also I might say that this episode should have been shorter. And granted, it's not a long episode. It's like 40 something minutes, but
yeah,
I don't know that I need to see Carol playing golf a few times. I don't know that I need to see every detail of, filling up cars, siphoning gas from cars and filling them up. It's not bad, and it doesn't really annoy me. It's just like, I don't quite see the point beyond, telling us who these characters are. And I'm trying to relate this to like The Fly, which is an episode of Breaking Bad that a lot of people didn't like, and I actually really love. And it's this bottle episode where Jesse and Walt are both stuck in the super lab for a day with each other, and they're coming to terms with a lot of their feelings on what they've been doing for a long time. And especially Walt. And that is a very like indulgent episode, but there's a lot of stuff in there that's entertaining, and maybe I just wasn't entertained enough by this episode. There are a couple of chuckle moments for me, but nothing like a Jesse dancing around in an inflatable suit that becomes an iconic image for the show, right?
But man, him falling onto that Chumbawamba tree or whatever, like, is one of the most goddamn horrifying things I've ever seen.
For sure.
And like, I do feel like that was a, kind of we're going to see it as like a signature scene going forward.
Yeah, maybe. And I guess it is in retrospect that I think about The Fly as a signature episode, but like, the scene with the broom and trying to hit him with it to get this fly, and like all that stuff is so funny, so entertaining. And then you also get the really like poignant,
it's the tension. Is he going to break down and say the thing in front of Jesse? This is like kind of his, conscience is wearing on him too.
Yeah. That's what The Fly
I don't know,
is.
maybe it's because I was just so looking forward to them dealing with the Darien Gap, and the fact that they rolled up their sleeves and fucking dealt with it was impressive. And
sure.
And I just,
I don't begrudge it. I'm not saying this is a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I didn't enjoy it as much as I have the other episodes.
And I want to say, like, because I obviously I'm the guy who, like, season 5 and Better Call Saul is like, okay, I've had enough. I can't recap this show anymore, because I don't know how many times they did it, but I do know the Alpha and the Omega of watching Mike fuck around for 15 or 20 minutes of the episode. Like, I remember the first time I noticed it, he was making a stop strip out of a water hose and nails. And the last time he was fixing some age appropriate Mamacita's window down south of the border. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how many times I saw that with Breaking Bad, how many times I saw him throw gym shoes over a wire and then sit out there in the desert with a sniper rifle for 15 minutes until he understood what he was doing. I don't know how many times I saw him, you know, waiting in a frozen chicken. It's like, I get it. That's his thing. For me, the equivalent of that would have to be, I'd have to see Manousos walk up through 7 more Darien gaps, but in different parts of the world, so it's not the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. But like, he'd have to do like 7 different Bear Grylls Survivor Man episodes, drinking his piss through a desert before I'd be like, what the? So one time
this is why I say it's not necessarily indulgent in the way that those can be. But
I wanted to show you that, like, I see why people like brace themselves because, like, you know, I don't know if this is a standard opinion, but I think that in the middle of Better Call Saul, you could lay that it was pretty indulgent. That this is a story we all knew the end of. This is a story where we all knew what our moral arc was going to go through. There's some questions about Kim, maybe, but like what we 100% knew down to the balls and our ovaries was that Mike could fuck around for 15 minutes and MacGyver some crazy shit up. And like,
sure.
Okay. So like, as long, I don't know whether Vince learned some things from that or whether that was a Peter Gould influence on it. I don't mind the indulgence here. I just don't want to see him make another trip across the Darien or anything like it.
Yeah. I mean, it is an important episode. You know, regardless of any other flaws that I might perceive, it is very important. Yeah. I mean, this is the breaking point for Carol. This is the point where Manousos refuses to ask for help, but gets help anyway, and is going to have to deal with that. And those are going to be 2 big events that affect them deeply. So next episode is going to be super interesting to see how this shakes out. But yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say it's a bad episode because it's not. It's just I didn't quite enjoy it as much as the others, and that's gonna happen.
Oh, I mean, we always call these the what do we call this? The setup episode or the deck building episode? Like we used to have that, like the idea of like, you know, you're playing the game of Magic the Gathering, whatever. Not every, you know, you're going to throw some fire cards out there and then your hand's bare. You got to draw back into some more fire before you can play it again. I guess this translates to spades and clubs and Trump and all that stuff too. But yeah, as my point is, like, it can't all be fireworks like Carol's got at the end. Every once in a while, you got to have a firework fall over so it can set up a bigger. Yeah. So I after like you said, 15 years of this, I feel like I got a pretty good feel for the Villigan pace, and I'm not worried about it. But I can see why people would. And the other thing is, like, I could also see why people, like, if you were really into Better Call Saul, like, that wouldn't bother you. And now you're in another weird show where it's like, it's got this standoffish Kim and the whole, like, it's not as interesting to you. So now you're noticing the stately pace of it, the stop and smell the roses nature of the filmmaking. But yeah, I don't think it's for everybody's taste, but it tasted real good to me.
Yeah, I will say it's gonna be good going forward, because one of the things I was wondering is, by the time Manousos gets to Carol, who is she gonna be? And I think that's what this episode does incredibly well, is changes her fundamentally to not be aligned with Manousos when he shows up, and shows just how stubborn he is, so that we know that's going to be a problem.
Yeah. If Manousos had showed up last week and him and Carol got together, it'd have been the meeting of the Pluribussin hating club. And at best, Carol's backed away from, I think, the hate, you know, that she now realizes she needs. I'm very curious to see, like, what exactly her state of mind is going to be next episode, because they make this like it's a big come to Jesus moment. maybe after she gets human contact after not having her for 40 days, she's going to chill out and remember like, oh, right, these guys did still hijack all of my whole planet, all my friends and family, and all the humans on it. So it's like they could come, but she's whereas Manusos, the experience he's going through is forging him into a flinty, iron hard piece of steel.
Mm-hmm.
Carol is going the other way. She's being tempered and having some of her edges knocked off. So they were so aligned, and he's going after Carol like a prophet, right? Like this guy feels like he was waiting. He was like John the Baptist. He's out there in the wilderness waiting for a sign of someone to come. And here's Carol. This is his savior. And he's going off to follow her. And when he finally gets there, she's going to be kumbayaing with Kumba and Zoja. I don't know. That'll be... I can't wait to see what their dynamic is.
Yeah.
Because he's sacrificed so much. Mm-hmm. But then again, Carol sacrifices. So it's like, I don't know. Like, it's he's a weird dude. This guy's a weird dude to get a bean on.
For sure. I mean, I got an idea of who he is. He's a very stubborn man. Exceptionally stubborn. And he really dislikes what's happened to humanity here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's got very strong principles that are wildly offended by the current state, and he's not flexible he's not interested in compromising. Well, okay, now we got 7 billion Unimind. We gotta, nope, he does not give a shit. That statement he made to the Pluribi at the edge of the gap, I thought was so fucking ice cold. That's another thing, is like, it's a very narrow wavelength of aggression that causes the Pluribi to stroke out, right?
Seems like it.
Because like Carol just is kind of screaming and throwing a temper tantrum. This is hatred. This is hatred and loathing. Mm-hmm. You know, that he's giving them, and that doesn't concern them at all. Like, I don't know, he maybe should have thrown a couple MFers in there or slapped one of them in the face. But like it kind of bothered me that he was that emotionally brutal with them, and they just. So they tanked it. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious if we're going to get any information on that, because, it does seem a little out of step with what I thought. The way I thought they would react, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess unless you got some other non-specific to say, we can get started on the episode. But first, I like saying this because it's not going to happen for another couple months, but it's something I'm really excited about and I want to put on people's radars. Is our annual Groundhog Day celebration, which you're like, what the hell is a Groundhog Day celebration? Well, the way we do it here is on the weekend of Groundhog's Day, we watch 24 hours of movies and we raise money for the Cure Owls group. It's trying to end Alzheimer's. And last year, we raised $50,000 watching all of the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit extended editions. This year, we're watching a cornucopia of Batman, a Batman buffet of Batman, 24 hours of Batman movies. It's one of the most fun, coolest parts of the year, and it's a cause I really believe in. Just going to put it out there. This January 31st, starting at noon, that's a Saturday, till the following noon on Sunday, we're going to be 24 hours of Batman. Biff, bam, boom, whap, wham. Yeah, check it out. I just want to put it on people's calendar. Make a note. It's a lot of fun. All right. Let's get into this episode. The Gap. On the way back from Vegas, rather, Carol swings by a convenience store for some gas and Gatorade. Play some scratch-offs and throw some mild shade at the Pluribi for their standards of ice cold.
Yeah, so one of the questions we had as we went through this is, how does she gas up? You know, she's driving hours and hours through the desert. Surely she must need gas. The pumps, I assume everywhere that the Pluribus don't need them are turned off. So
I know a little too much about how C-stores work because I worked at a large, I guess, I don't know, had like 120 locations across the Midwest. I don't think that you can return a service station to service just by throwing electricity remotely. I don't think they're set up that way. And if they were shutting it down safe, they'd absolutely cut the power to the pumps first. So Carol would have to know how to. Well, if nothing else, you'd have to know how to authorize these fucking things because they don't just like let you gas up, right? You know, you got to put a credit card or pay in advance or something like that. So I don't think it's as simple as them just turning on the power and her just gassing up. On the other hand, it's probably not that much more complicated either. And how many other people know the, what you got to do to authorize a pump at a gas station? So,
yeah,
but she's just getting free gas.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. So what purpose does money have? We'll get to that later.
Can we talk about that? Like, what is the point of playing Scratch? Because, like, to me, I got a pretty clear idea of what they're trying to show here. What did you think they're getting at with her playing the lotto?
I don't know, because I mean, this episode is her turn to nihilism until it isn't, right? Like,
yes,
she's every song that she's singing to herself, every song we hear is all about like none of it matters. I'm gonna do things to just have fun and I'll be okay, right?
Yep.
Like it's her saying, none of this actually matters. I'm fine. Mm-hmm. And so the scratch offs are like, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out, I think, because it's something that has no meaning in this world. Like, she can scratch it and win, and she wins like $10,000 or whatever and goes, huh, right? So there's a little bit of like brief, irony of luck here, where she's had this awful luck and then this little bit of good luck on the card that like means nothing in the face of the awful luck that she's had already. So,
I like that.
I don't know.
I wonder if they're also trying to, because like last week I mentioned with Diabate, like what an empty experience that he's living with. Like if you're living in the real world and you're just going to, high roller casinos and you're fucking supermodels 5 at a time and you're doing, I think that's ultimately a pretty empty experience. But like doing it as part of a giant charade would have to be more so. And we can see, what Carol did with this scratch off. Like I think they're showing like different ends of nihilism. Like what Carol's doing to this scratch off ticket is like what Diabate is doing at a very small scale, but she is getting no joy and pleasure from it, where Diabate seems like he's getting maximum joy and pleasure from it.
And she's doing it literally just to waste time while Patrick Fabian does his stupid recording for the 19th time.
Do you think that they'll ever fix that? Because at this point, I think it's Carol being stubborn. She's not, but that's the thing. It's like I thought it was the fact that she was being stubborn, did like not ask him to do things directly, but she's asking him to do all kinds of things directly. So like, why wouldn't she be like, and also, not only did you deliver me this lukewarm fucking drone punch, but also fucking shorten. Just make it beep. I get it. We need space. All right. I won't forget. Just the beep. If I forget, you can add it. But right now, just the beep.
I would have done that after the second time I heard it. I'd been like, oh yeah, I need to kill this thing. But
I don't have a satisfying explanation other than Vince thinks it's funny. And it is. It's not worn itself out with me yet, but also I've seen some feedback and I've seen how people are talking on the Discord and the Reddits, and it does seem like it's driving a lot of people crazy.
Here's the thing: when I saw it this time, so last episode when it happened in Vegas, I was in hysterics because I had forgotten that it was a thing, and she picks up the phone. And, oh no, it's back! This episode, I knew it was a thing. I didn't find it funny, but I also didn't find it annoying, and I wonder if that's me coming around to how Carol feels about it, which is, this is just a thing I live with now.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, you've learned to stop worrying and love the bomb, Jim.
Right? But here's what I'll say about it. I bet it's gone now. I bet we never hear it again because Carol has invited
why would we need it?
back.
You're right. Yeah, we're getting rid of it because they don't need it anymore.
Yeah, so 3 episodes. It's the rule of 3s, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then it's gone. I think that's a good amount of time.
All right. Good analysis. Do you think it's possible to deliver an ice cold Gatorade to someone
without
with a drone?
Contact? Yes, in a cooler.
In Albuquerque. I was gonna say in Albuquerque because like I don't. It seems like it's pretty sunny.
But would you need more than 17 pounds of ice?
I was thinking, like, can you pack? Well, I mean, if it's the hive mind could absolutely find, I don't know, like what, a 32-ounce Yeti that they could pack full of ice, tumbler, and put the thing like a Sabo round in the middle of that. Yeah,
right, like the Barbasol can in Jurassic Park, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like get
Yeah.
Get one or two of your science workers that are trying to crack the human DNA problem and have them spend an afternoon thinking of an insulated cooler for your drone technology.
Just in case. Yeah, that's the thing.
Fruit
I
punch
didn't know if it
Gatorade.
was.
By the way, is this is me being weird, or is that the raisin oatmeal cookie of the Gatorade world? Because like I like some Gatorade flavors more than others, but
Everyone
Fruit
does.
Punch is way down on the list of the ones I don't like.
Wait, way down on the list of the ones you don't like?
Yes. Well, I guess way up on the list of things I don't like.
Okay. All right. In that case, I can't agree. Fruit Punch is damn near the top. It's the blue flavor, which is whatever. I don't know. Ice. Is that what they call it? I have no idea. And it's
like
the
Frost.
Fruit Punch for me. Those are the one and
I like-
two.
I'm-
And then the oatmeal raisin cookie of Gatorade is clearly grape. Grape is awful.
Oh, yeah, okay. I'm with you on that. I prefer the original. You know, like
The lemon lime.
yeah, lemon lime is my favorite, but I don't mind orange. But grape, yeah, you're right. Grape's pretty bad.
Yeah. I'm just
All right,
not a
well,
fan of
I've done-
artificial grape.
Apparently, it's Carol's favorite. Not grape, but the Fruit Punch.
The thing I noticed about this gas station interior is they've taken all the useful stuff and left all the bullshit that has no use.
Oh,
like
you know, I
cigarettes,
didn't notice
fireworks,
that.
scratch off tickets, but all the food shelves are bare.
All the food, it's gone. Yeah, it's gone because they need that. That's another day of life for them, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Are those drones getting better too? Like that's a pretty good touchdown. Like it's not cold, but it just places it right there on the concrete. I don't know. I feel like
Maybe they're showing that
programming-
they're getting better, but again, I feel like they have the skills of the best drone pilot. You know, and have you seen some of those fuckers, the racing that they
yeah.
do with the onboard cameras, and it's just insane. It's like
flips,
like
and
real
spirals
life
and stuff.
pod
Oh, yeah.
racing from Star Wars.
Oh yeah, stuff is cool.
Yeah. But the other thing is like also she just didn't look happy throughout this. There's a couple points where she's humming that great REM song, "It's the End of the World and I Feel Fine" to herself, but she's not fine. But this is
No.
I guess that's the thing I thought was interesting is this is her sad attempt to be Diabate. Like her version of winning, beating Blowfield in a game of poker at a big casino is getting $10,000 scratch off.
And it's just as meaningful, which is to say it's meaningless.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
that is absolutely true, but it's also sadder, you know, or at least her affect about it is sadder. I think I agree with you on the emptiness and meaninglessness of it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But you're right.
Also,
I mean,
and
she
then-
even spruces up her car, right? Like she takes this Rolls Royce from the country club, this Phantom. I think it's a Phantom. All their models
Yep,
look so
I looked it
similar.
up.
They're just like slightly more extended or a little curvier in the back.
Yeah, the Cooper's the one that stands out, but yeah. But no, that's
Yeah,
that's definitely a Phantom. Its front's pretty distinctive.
Yeah. But that's an upgrade on her car, which we saw what Kumba's driving last episode, a Lamborghini for
Right.
every day of the week.
Did we talk about how disappointing that is? Like, okay, maybe I have a couple Lambos, but really? You're not gonna get a Lotus
Loves
or
Lambos.
a Ferrari.
Even if you just want to stick to
Really?
Italian sports cars,
Yeah,
there are multiple
so many.
options.
Yeah. Anyway, and then like her giving the penny back and to give a penny, take a penny, so funny to me.
Yep.
But, and the way they cut to as when she's in, feel like the F word, like they cut it off like it's the fuck, you know, and they go to the Pluribus logo. Great. Pitch perfect. Passing her time in Albuquerque, Carol lights some fireworks, howls with the wolves, golfs at a exclusive country club, upgrades her police cruiser to a Rolls Royce, relaxes at a hot spring, boosts the original Georgia O'Keeffe in the middle of a subtle Breaking Bad reference, treats herself to a nice dinner at a swanky spot overlooking the lovely downtown Albuquerque, and is happy, is deeply unhappy, is lonely. Let's discuss.
She feels fine. The world's ending. She feels fine. She wants to feel fine. She cannot feel fine. Is that a Breaking Bad reference, or have we just hit the extent? Like, have we just hit the end of what is interesting about New Mexico? Like, I think we got to roll it back to Georgia O'Keeffe because that's all we got.
I think that, like, it's, Georgia O'Keeffe, it's like goes back to Jesse and Jane's date, right? I think that's like, it's not a huge reference, but it's definitely a reference to the very vaginal work of Georgia O'Keeffe. And then, I could see how, like, some of this, you can see how, like, she's almost enjoying it. Like, the idea of replacing all the reprint paintings in your house with, like, original is pretty slick. But again, you know, and also just like the way she does it, like when she orders up a night on the town, it doesn't sound like Diabate doing it, right? Like Diabate makes it sound like she's just like, I'm trying to distract myself from wanting to blow my head off, so I want to go out tonight. And it's just, and she's getting dressed up for who? Like, you know, Liz Diabate's got the hive mind to talk to. It's sad and depressing watching her doing all this.
No, I mean, all of this is connected to her loneliness. Like, everything she's doing would be an insanely amazing time if she had someone to do it with. And like, and maybe more specifically, Helen to do it with. But yeah, literally anyone at this point. Whereas scenes like this make me wonder what the hell is wrong with Kumba, because he hasn't acknowledged how empty his experience is, and he seems to be having a great time with it all, despite being in the exact same position that Carol is in. He's just either oblivious to it or doesn't care.
They mentioned this, like, I listened to the official podcast and I had an interview with the guy who plays Diabate, and I guess when I was listening to the writers and Vince and him talking about the character, they kept on mentioning like the innocence of him. Like, it's not even occurred to him that this would be wrong. And maybe that stands for, because it seems like they imagined him from a background of nothing. Like, he was very poor from a very poor country. Yeah. And like, just like, you know, and I imagine if you grow up like seeing movies of fantastic wealth and stuff like that, you know, and you're not living in the country where like occasionally it'll make you feel bad about it. Like you know, like, oh, you want to care about social justice and yet you use an iPhone built by slave labor. It's like, you know, you get all bent at, but like if you came from a third world country and you just had that fantasy and none of the negatives in your mind, you're just like, fucking I can be James Bond. It's awesome. Why not? You know, who can blame me? I didn't ask for this to happen. It's like winning the lottery, right?
Sure.
But that, I think it's, his, whereas she's just cynical and she knows this is bad. She knows it's fucked up. But you're right. She's nihilist. The other thing is, like, she doesn't check in with anybody, right? Like, we go through 48 days of her. Diabate said, yeah, you should check in on us every once in a while. And I think they would have said that if she had gotten a call from anybody. I think you're supposed to understand that she spent 40 days more or less alone. Yeah,
I think so. Just floating in a pool and golfing and, you know, everything she was doing. But
she has Ray Seahorn has an ironclad no Austin Powers style nudity clause in her contract. So
yeah,
we didn't even really get below the neckline when she's skinny dipping in that hot spring.
Yep.
But
it's fine. You do you. I will say I think so much of this stems from the loss or lack of loss that they experienced during this, right? Because if Kumba is this guy who is just trying to get by before this whole thing goes down, in a country that is very poor, doesn't have a lot of connections to people. He's
she's
not
the
really
opposite.
lost anything. She's the opposite. She is the guy she is the person who had something very precious to her that she lost.
Maybe the only thing she valued.
Yeah. Yeah, I really think so. Like, if you look at the way she treated the people around her in her life, of which there were only really fans, people who adored her, she couldn't have cared less about them. She really actually disdained them. And Helen was the only thing, and she lost Helen, which we talk about this occasionally, like, how would this show be different if Helen had survived? I think that comes up in feedback every once in a while, and it is an interesting question. But because she didn't, and we get this outcome, she's just not able to handle it in a very different way from any of these other survivors.
I like, because when she's driving out and humming the Caddyshack theme in her golf cart, and she passes a bison. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Carol, why are you going anywhere without that shotgun? Can I say this because I'm a pretty, like, you know, if I was in, I would definitely be toting that shotgun around, because wolves. I mean, I just howled at the wolves. I'm not going to be taken out by... I didn't survive it's the deaths of 8 billion people to be taken out by a goddamn coyote. That's for sure. I was so happy to see that she actually did have the shotgun in her bag. She is rolling around with that. I'm like, oh, thank Carol. Carol, you're redeeming yourself.
Yeah, I would too.
But yeah, I don't know if there's anything other than, you know, like, again, she goes and she's got this food, and now she's leaning into the things she hated about the hive. That, you know, the special place that me and my wife liked, and you know, my favorite 4 foods, and you like just cater to me. But even with that, she's alone, and experience is empty, and it's quiet. So she goes off and finds a player piano. Like, it's, again, it's just very sad. And that's the thing. It's like I Will Survive is a great song for when you're in the dumps, you know, someone's hurt you real bad or you're trying to fight back, but it's not a anthem for life, right? No one wants to merely survive.
Sure.
You want to thrive. And so it's like, even that, at the depth, she's like singing this song about she's going to be a survivor. You did survive, Carol. Now what? And she has no fucking answer on that.
Yeah, I think she's trying to survive the death of Helen, because like all these things she's doing culminate in her doing the most Carol and Helen thing, which is having all of their special meals served to her at the place where they apparently had their most special anniversary. This is her desperately trying to hold on to her own sanity, her own life, right? And I Will Survive playing in the background, like you said. It's incredibly sad, but I'm really curious to see what's going to come out of this, as far as her attitude goes.
The other thing is, I cannot see a player piano without thinking Westworld. Do you think that Vince is doing a little nod to that? Because there are some of the same type of questions about what it means to be human, and
I think this is more like
survives this changes in mediums. And
I mean, I guess they could have just had her play some digital music over the speakers if they wanted us to know. Okay, well, she can't.
I honestly didn't know they had like modern player pianos where you can go up there, slide your credit card, and it just makes sense. But it's fucking cool. Yeah,
like a physical jukebox that will like move the keys and make the sounds physically. Yeah, it's crazy. That was awesome.
But so it looked like I understood all the other foods that she was getting, except for the main course. Looked like a chicken breast that became a failed chia pet experiment. Do you know what the main course that she was eating?
No. Is that the Maritosi one?
No, those are the cream filled pastries. This is, like I said, it looked like a chicken breast that had been like cooked and encrusted with something, but it had these green leafy 4-leaf clovers growing all over it or coming out of it. I don't know. Sparse.
Dude, fancy foods.
Weird. I
don't understand them. No one can understand
Sometimes
them.
They can taste really good,
Sure.
But I'll tell you two things about it. You probably don't want to ask how it was cooked, and number two, the portions will be incredibly small.
They will be, and it'll be incredibly expensive.
Yeah. You'll have you order the mashed potatoes, and it'll be the size of a golf ball, or a ping pong serving. It'll be the most incredible you've ever tasted.
Or the mashed potatoes might be like a gas that you just sniff. Those are your mashed potatoes.
Or they're going to be some really weird, vivid green potato from fucking Singapore that only grows in the jungles of whatever. Yeah.
Sure, there's value. There's cultural value in that, but I do. Here's the thing. I wish I could engage with it more, but it's way too fucking expensive. And so I'm just angry at it.
So I did think it's because on these experiences she almost gets happy. There's a point where she's always like, she smiles, like, but then she like opens her eyes and she looks around and like she's the only one there. You know, and clearly like having this to share with like a Helen is what made all of this stuff. Because it's an open question: can Carol be happy? You know,
in this situation or before this
situation, honestly, because we saw her go into a incredible experience. Maybe it's not her cup of tea with the ice castle or whatever, but it's an incredible experience to be there with someone you love with objectively amazing scenery, and she was a complete asshole about that too. But
true.
Clearly not having someone there is even worse for her.
Yeah.
All right. Is there also a little hint that Carol might have been wealthy from before? Because I noticed that she was talking about she went to Martha's Vineyard in 99. That has to be before she was a wealthy author. And who the hell has dinner in Martha's Vineyard as like someone in their mid to late 20s that got thrown out of their family? But that doesn't make sense too, because if she's like a trust fund baby, you think the first thing that a shitty mom would do would be to cut you off of that. So then how are you getting to...
She had that camp experience when she was 16, and I can't imagine that she stuck around that family beyond the necessity to. So
yeah, she might have ran away at 18, or we know she went to college. So
yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, every time she smiles, she kind of opens her eyes and looks across her restaurant, and nobody here with me. Well, let's join Minosis, shall we? He's slowly walking uphill with a jerry can, practicing his English. One of the Pluribi drives by, very concerned with his hydration, but Minosis ignores him. Continues slowly making his way north through all of South America, occasionally siphoning gas from vehicles, which he generously reimburses. He sleeps in churches. He fishes for his food. Even more English practice. Eventually, he arrives at the end of the road where several Pluribi come out from the rainforest to warn him of the horrors of the Darien Gap. In return, he sets fire to his beloved MGB and continues his trek north, telling the Pluribi, "Nothing on this planet is yours. You cannot give me anything, because everything you have is stolen. You don't belong here."
So we'll leave that for now.
Only someone could tell that to Cortez. Did you get there's a little bit of commentary here of like, this is the second time in like 500 years that South America in particular has been invaded by a literal alien force, and all of their things confiscated and taken. Well, that's what I'm saying, but like, it's recently true of the Americas.
Yeah, for him it would be that might be his focus. I hadn't thought about that. I suppose that is true though. I was too busy thinking about all the logistical stuff. Like, how is this man going to get that far? Excluding the gap. Just how is he going to get gas? How's he going to get water and food and everything if he refuses to take help? And they go through all this and make it seem at least plausible that he could survive, and he has some skills. He's the only person I've seen on this show that I believe could catch a fish.
No, I think he is like people were calling him preppers, I think before. I don't think prepper is a good term for him. I think like self-reliant and like like he's clearly knows a lot about kind of living off the land. He probably gone, camping, might have roughed it a bunch. He's good with his because like here's the other thing is he's driving this like 40-year-old classic car. God, is older than 40 years. I'm fucking old. It's like 50-year-old classic car. His license plate says L Fritz, and I'm like, as far as I can tell, that's just a joke about like his car is called the broken thing, or the thing that's always on the mend or something. And he takes it on his grueling ride, and he has no problems with it. Maybe he could fix it up. But I couldn't notice. I couldn't help but notice the Christ images just kept coming, man. Again, it wasn't until the second time I realized that his drive through the wilderness was exactly 40 days. But by my count, he's tempted 3 times. His mother comes up and offers to give him food and to give him some information, and he turns it down. Then the dude drives up and asks and offers him water, and even says at the top of this mountain there's a beautiful lookout, which is very similar to what the devil said when he took Jesus up to the top of the mountain and said, here's all the worlds, look how beautiful it is, I give them all. And then the third time is when is the third time when he, I guess so yeah, okay, so I guess the third time is when the Pluribi warn him one last time, please don't go through the dairy, we'll take you to Carol Sturka.
Yeah.
And he passes all those. But unlike Jesus, he needed Satan to helicopter him out of the wilderness.
Jesus didn't do that? I could have sworn.
I think they said interesting. Because like what happened so in the Bible story of Jesus being, so the whole story about Jesus being tempted is Jesus got baptized by John the Baptist and commissioned to go do the work. But before he did that, he spent some time in the desert to kind of think things over. It's not every day that you get your entire pre-human existence into your brain. You gotta process it. So he's sitting there and he's not eating and he's not drinking. He's fasting, and the devil comes and he tempts him. He's asked, hey, if you're the Lord, you're the Son of Man, it should be trivial for you to turn these stones into bread and you can feed yourself. And Jesus is like, man doesn't live on bread alone, all this stuff. And at the end, he passes all, but he's weak, and it says the angels came to minister to him. And a lot of times in art, that's portrayed as like the angels setting him a banquet, or like, putting a picnic, or bringing him, or sometimes like just maybe spiritually bucking him up or whatever. Mm-hmm. I was thinking that the 3 temptations, the last temptation was him, I guess not willing, but he accepted their help to get off there. But the temptations were his mother, the truck guy, and the Pluribi in the forest. Then are the angels the Pluribi? The people that came to minister to him? Are they both the devil and the angels?
It's a good question. I don't know. I will say all of this Christ imagery stuff doesn't super interest me. Like I've seen so much of it. We talked endlessly about this stuff for, many, many years.
Yeah,
now.
I've seen the hero story 1,000 times too. It just, I think you're just butthurt with God is what it is.
Could be. Or it could be that I'm not interested in talking about the hero's journey either. Like, I don't need to recap and analyze how that is going into every single story you ever watch either. But I see what you're saying. Like,
yeah,
it is certainly there. And as far as I can tell, if he is the Christ figure, he is supposed to be some kind of savior of humanity. I mean, that is the definitional Christ figure.
That's what he's literally saying. My name is God is with you.
Mm-hmm.
I want to save the world. You can't get more Jesus than that.
Right. And most of me is thinking at this point that has to be a rope-a-dope. That has to be a thing where like he's going to come in and you think he's going to be some kind of savior, but either he can't or at some point he decides he doesn't want to.
Yeah, because the other thing is, I guess I was, if the Three Temptations ended with him taking the helicopter ride, I was thinking like, oh, well, that might mean that he failed it. And like what Vince is trying to tell us with his uncompromisingness and how strong he is with his beliefs and what he'll go through rather than asking for help, that he's even a more extreme version of Carol. And that when like that there's going to be this like almost schism, he's going to be the Martin Luther to her, I don't know, the Pope or whatever. And boy, religious wars, they can be violent. I don't know if you've heard about this, but
oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think there's maybe a third path here, is that his version of saving humanity looks horrific to us. Like,
it could be like literally killing all these people would be justice, because the crime's already been committed. You've already stolen the land, you've stolen the money, you've stolen the bodies.
Right.
If I can't get them back, then for damn sure I'll punish the guilty. Yeah.
Right. And if he discovers that he could do what Carol did accidentally and kill 11 million people by just getting angry enough, then he might use that as he could become a villain very easily, the Antichrist.
That's what I'm saying.
You're talking about.
Yeah, and I was wondering if that, because like I don't think Carol can be the actual villain. Well, I mean, hell, he did it with Breaking Bad. He made the protagonist the villain.
Vince Gilligan specifically said he was trying to make a more heroic character here. Not
he tries to do a lot of
the
shit.
Anti-hero.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's trying to subvert science fiction tropes. Does that mean he's going to subvert everyone? Like, but I did take the, but he also changed. Like, my God,
I don't
like look at Breaking Bad. Like, he intended that, like, the end of the first season that or not Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, that Saul was going to kind of turn, but then he's like, it's too interesting. We want to do 4 more seasons of the same thing. Anyway,
the reluctant hero doesn't usually join the Empire, though. Like, that's the thing. Carol, man, as much as he says I wanted to do a more heroic character, straightforward hero, I don't see it in Carol yet. I see an angry person who has a very good, strong reason to hate the enemy here or the villain, but I don't see a lot of heroicism in her yet. But maybe we'll get there. And
I could there could be these like Magneto, Xavier, Professor X kind of thing, where it's like, okay, we both agree that the humans are dangerous and they hate us and they're wanting to kill us, but like Professor X doesn't want to kill all of humanity. He wants us to live in peace. Where Magneto's like, well, that's me, my preference too, but all I know is I'm not going to another camp, Charles. This boy's not going through. I'm not getting another wrist tattoo. So if those guys, and I think Manusos is this even less sympathetic, because he's had, he apparently didn't have 2 parents that loved him.
Yeah, so he could be the Magneto of this.
So the other thing they told me is that this guy's South American rich, or he was stacking up so much money. Because I looked it up, he's putting 100 million Paraguayan dollars on the windshield of every car that he siphons gas from. Now, you probably think the same thing I did. Is like, I wonder what that means to US dollars. Maybe that's like $20 or whatever.
If it's Argentina, yeah, but I don't know about
it.
Paraguay.
Is very weak currency. $1 equals about 7,000 Paraguayan dollars. So he's actually leaving about 15 grand on every one of these windows. And I'm wondering if that's like, they're showing that this guy, he wasn't a prepper, but he was a guy who was trying to live as modestly as possible and trying to stack up money so that he could like get away or get back. Or it's interesting, he's a Colombian living in Paraguay too.
That doesn't jive with with how we are introduced to him. Like a man who, I don't know. Is that his storage unit? Maybe that's not his storage unit, but he certainly treats it like it is.
That's what I'm saying. And if that wasn't his, I think he'd be acting a completely different way about it. Like he is speaking as the management when he's writing that sign.
But there's 2 problems with this. A, that is a shitload of money to leave on every car. Enough that you could live the life of a king anywhere in the world, essentially.
Yeah.
He's got enough money to get away if that's his point. But B, if he is a storage unit manager or even owner, he's not that wealthy. And if he is he's not running the shops himself, the storage unit himself. He's paying people to do that. Sure. Maybe he's a
He's from
Paraguayan coke
Like,
dealer.
was he a Colombian? Like, because I always associate Colombia. I'm sorry, with drug dealers. Blame Pablo Escobar. He's from Colombia. Was he sent down to Paraguay to kind of like start a side business, or maybe to launder money? Because I'm
too principled. I don't think so. He's leaving notes about like opening people's storage lockers
But this goes back to like Mike Ehrmantraut's. I've known honest criminals and I've known crooked cops. Like you can have a code and still be on the wrong side of the law. That's what Mike's philosophy is. Whatever side of law you're on doesn't mean you're an immoral person. It's choices you make on those sides that make you an immoral person.
But why is a vastly wealthy drug kingpin running a storage unit? Like physically sitting there himself doing it.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I'm not saying that he's like a drug pin. I'm saying that he's like I don't know, lieutenant of lieutenant of lieutenant. That's doing a money laundering front. That's like maybe he even got sent down there because he pissed off somebody. I'm just saying I'm just trying to figure out, unless Vince Gilligan didn't look up the exchange rate and know that this is a crazy generous thing to put under someone's window when you're siphoning their gas, that this guy is flashing out tons of money. It could be this is his life savings too, that he's spending and thinking that like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore.
That's, I think,
then
much
why
more
is
likely.
he leave? But then why is he leave? If he's fully committed to it, it doesn't matter. Why is he leaving it? Or maybe all I got to do is get the carol and then we can save the world. And if we save the world, then all these people will know that he's a weird guy.
Yeah, no, he's a weird guy. I agree with that 100%. I think we still need more info on this to know what he thinks is going to happen. But as I'm reading it so far, he thinks he can save the world. And when he does, what does he think that's going to result in for him? Does he think he's going to be held up as the hero of the world and he will have no money problems like, the drillers going to the asteroid in Armageddon, never having to pay taxes again?
You don't have to pay taxes ever again. Yeah.
Right. He's like, I would have had to pay taxes on all this money anyway. Let's get rid of it.
Speaking of the temptations of Christ too, I thought it was interesting that, after the first guy tempts him, he's like, well, if you need anything, just wave to the sky. That's literally what Satan said. It's like, well, you can appeal to your father for anything, can't you? You could throw yourself off the top of the temple here and say, save me. And your father would send you a whole legion of angels to come down here and cushion your fall. So it's like, I thought that's another, like, well, if you need anything, just wave to the heavens.
For sure.
Okay. So I saw that he's got hanging from his rear view mirror a devotional image of the Virgin del Carmen. I looked this up. She's the patron saint of mariners. But also, I guess since the Middle Ages, there was this obscure offshoot group that thought that if a relative of a deceased person prayed to Mary on the Sabbath after he or she died, that Mary could directly intercede and get their soul out of purgatory. And there was like this, like, I guess, apocryphal papal bull that discussed all this, and it's back and forth throughout the Middle Ages, and finally I think in the 18th century, like, you can't do this no more. I think it's interesting he's fallen the patron saint of essentially a lady who can get you out of purgatory. It's something that wasn't core to my faith, but it's the place in between heaven and hell. It's like where unbaptized infants go. They didn't sin, but they also didn't have God's grace, so they're kind of stuck here until, I don't know, if they go through the karmic Plinko system and arrive in either heaven and hell. But if I was going to describe from Menuso's position one word to describe the mass of humanity, it'd probably be they're in purgatory.
Yeah, they're not dead. They're not in hell. They're not alive as I know it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was, again, this has got to mean something beyond just herder. Vince Gilligan read a little bit about the Bible, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely think that's in there. There's too much coincidence for it not to be.
Yeah. But they call that the Sabbatine privilege, the fact that Mary would come down and pray for you get you out of purgatory if someone did it on a Saturday.
Is there anybody who can pray for you to get you out of hell? Can it be undone?
I think well, I mean, I don't know. Jesus, depending on how you read it, some people think that Jesus preached in hell for at least 3 days. It's just how you get around that whole loophole of, well, how could people be judged when they never had the chance to give faith and to shed blood of Jesus Christ? Anyway,
the Bible say he preached in hell, because I don't remember that.
Well, because I think in Aramaic it literally, he spent the day in Sheol or Hades, which can be the common grave, but then it also gets translated to hell and later. Anyway, do you want? I don't know. Do you want to get into my Arian heresies of being a Jehovah's Witness and what I feel about hell, or do you want to talk about this thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do we make of all the pluribi he passes? Because like the first village, it just seems like they're fucking around. They're just like doing communal laundry, and I'm like, okay. The second, they're doing like some kind of human bucket brigade, like transporting things, and maybe that makes sense.
Laundry.
But
it's the laundry.
What?
Those baskets are full of clothes. Yeah, I don't know what this laundry town is doing, man.
Is all the world's laundry being done here, and that's why everyone's wearing the same clothes? It just takes them forever because they don't have washing machines.
That's insane.
It's very inefficient.
Be more efficient. That's what I was looking at. I'm looking at it going, how is it more efficient to have these people in the middle of nowhere doing laundry than to ship it into the laundromat?
Go to the major cities. Go to the major cities on the coast where it's easy to supply you, and there's electricity and resources and labs and
I mean, we saw everybody congregating, like they've pulled inward, right, to congregate people in areas for efficiency. They haven't clearly done that here, so why not?
I don't know. And like I said, they're not splitting the atom or sequencing genomes down here. They're just fucking doing the laundry, and someone's got to do it. But like, I thought that was really bizarre. I wasn't sure what we're supposed to be seeing them doing with that.
Like, it doesn't harm many living beings to run a washing machine, does it? Like, maybe super indirectly.
Well, did they consider bacteria? And because there could be like body lice and bed bugs and things that you put in the wash. So
But hand scrubbing them is probably going to kill them too, right? I don't know.
Maybe if you beat them on the rocks in a river, it gives the fleas a chance to swim away. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have a good answer for that. I did think it's interesting that they showed those those pictographs. There's like these primitive human paintings on rocks where he was sitting looking at the map. It showed guy hunting bison with a bow and arrow or something and paint. I don't know what, but it's like it reminded me of how the human history has been doing stuff. There's got this guy in the foreground reading a map, and then in the background there's this image of like the first recorded human writings, and I thought that was really cool. And that this is all ending now because of these fucks from 600 light years away.
Yeah, I mean, that's a way to look at it. I think we had an email in our feedback episode from somebody who said maybe this is somehow returning humanity to a more supportable, supportable state by our ecosystem. And I think back to when we were hunter-gatherers, that was much more sustainable. That was a thing where you killed what you ate, you didn't waste anything. That's pretty much it. That could be it too. Like,
the real Faustian bargain humankind made is growing wheat. We really fucked it up when we sat down and started growing wheat. It all went hell.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe our average lifespan is 35, but we fucking lived, man. We were taking mammoths on the tundra and lions on the Serengeti every day, rich and full of life. Now what? We're sitting in fucking desks, recording podcasts, balancing spreadsheets. That's not what life was meant to be.
I say we have a lot more art now than we did then.
But I mean, hey, they drew their pictographs. Hey, dude, I was able to tell that guy drew a picture of a dude hunting a bison. He did his job as an artist. I go to the Museum of Modern Art. I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to think about this red square in the wall.
But someone does. Someone does, if not only just the artist.
No, but
yeah.
Guy sleeps in churches. That's interesting. You can sleep anywhere, and he does. But he preferentially sleeps in a church, probably because like churches are open for that kind of like. Most churches don't lock their doors because they're supposed to be sanctuary for people in need. And maybe he's because I noticed that all the English stuff he's saying kind of reinforces his worldview. Like those coats don't belong to you. Those coats belong to them. Very strong things about possession. The girl saved the mouse from the trap. Someone saving someone from something, right?
Yeah. He's also learning very proper English too. To whom do the coats belong? You will never hear anyone in America say, Dude, to whom do the coats belong?
I'm already getting that about
Whose
the German
coats are
I'm
these?
learning. That this is little hoity-toity German that I'm learning.
Yeah, I bet.
I think that's, everybody goes through the very formal, precise way before they start getting the colloquialisms and the contractions. And
that could be fun. You got this Colombian guy speaking very proper English through the rest of the series.
This guy's eating fish. I can't think of a single other person in human history that was notably associated with a fish.
Nope.
But if you did, maybe send it in, pluribus@baldmove.com.
There were only 3 fishes, not 7. So I don't know. Your theory is a little shot.
It was 2 fishes and 7 loaves, wasn't it?
Either way, yeah, I think the loaves are 7.
Because I actually thought, I was like, oh my
fishes.
God, what if it's the exact amount of fish? And then it's like I saw like a third one. Oh my God, I can't be right. But so we get to this point where he's at the Darien Gap, and it looks like so a lot of people were arguing about whether he'd know about the Gap, and I'm like, I don't know if he would or not. Like, why would a person from Colombia/Paraguay know about it?
No.
For example, I'll give you one. My brother wanted to move to Alaska. He thought he could drive from here in Indiana to Alaska. There's not a road that connects Alaska to the United States.
What? That's
got to go through the Canadian Rockies and the Northwest Territories. It's just too remote.
Weak. We got tons.
See, Jim uncritically believed me when I said that. This is his own country. He doesn't know what the fuck roads connect to what. Because, of course, we've got a road that goes from the United States.
You get 20 minutes south of Cincinnati. I can't tell you what's there. Like,
the fact that people, I saw it on the live talk. They're like, oh, he's from Colombia. He's got to know about the. How? No,
I agree.
I don't think that's.
I agree.
But I think
crazy.
It did seem like he did know because he got there and it didn't seem like he was surprised. And he was like saying goodbye to his car, like a touching, like the only time I've seen him smile is when he's touching the hood and he's like, you got me here, El Fritz. And then these pluribi come out and they read the opening Wikipedia article for the Darien Gap. I knew everything about this except for the palms. I thought Vince might have made that shit up because those spiked palm trees don't look real.
They look like if you wanted to. I don't know. They look like a baseball bat with nails sticking out of them.
Yes, and maybe those were fake, but like I looked them up and they look exact. They're that spiny. They're that frequent. They're that bristling. Just that right angles.
Messed up, man.
Yeah, it's it is super fucked. But yeah, they talked about that too. And that's the thing. It's like, it's like, well, okay, you don't have the dangerous paramilitary and the gang members down there now, but like I'm a pretty good outdoorsman. If I was in a situation like this, I think I could survive and I wouldn't starve or I wouldn't freeze. Like if you didn't put me in the Arctic Circle or in the middle of the desert, I think I could get around pretty fine. But what you can't do is injury and disease and illness. That's where no matter what kind of outdoors guy, you can start drinking weird water, you turn your ankle, you get an infection. There's no kind of Daniel Boone shit you can do for that. So
yeah,
that's the risk that I've read it like that. No one knows how many thousands of people die in the Darien Gap each year because no one really knows how many people go in there, but it's crazy.
Yeah, I was worried mostly about it's funny in retrospect because when they first show him walking across wet rocks, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna turn his ankle.
They definitely, yeah.
That was my biggest fear. And then he falls backwards into a baseball bat covered with nails. Poisonous, bacteria-laden nails, by the way. That was a little worse.
Yeah, but again, just the way they show this guy's iron will, like this guy gets, and by the way, if you're looking for more Christ imagery, what was one of the passions of the Christ? Guy's back scourged.
Yep.
I imagine the wounds are similar to falling backwards onto one of these fucking trees and prying yourself off of it. This was one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen. Like it's like it. And it's like, because I've obviously seen worse gore, but like in the same way we talked about it, speaking of Bald Move Christmas, we reviewed Home Alone. There's that scene where Marv steps on the nail. And for some reason that gets me, where like seeing someone's guts being pulled out by a zombie doesn't. This guy falling onto this tree really fucking got me, man. It shook me.
You just don't like puncture wounds. Like your kryptonite is like deep puncture wounds.
I guess so. Maybe because I have stepped on a nail as a kid, and that's no good. But that was fucked, and I like the way that they showed him like glistening in the sun. It's almost like it's just dew, but it looked like a venom.
Yeah. Here's the other thing that I wanted to note about his car. We talked about how much he loves his car, right? And I think it's reinforced by the language learning he's doing in the car, because when the car won't start, the thing he's learning to say is yellow dog, and the car, of course, is yellow. I think he feels about this car the way you would about a loyal dog. This is a car he's had forever. This is a car that he loves, that he feels loves him back. And him burning it in the faces, he's saying he is willing to give up everything that he is, everything he holds dear, to not move an inch for them.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, he didn't intend to burn it there, right? But you can see on his face the moment they say, we can transport you there. We can have you there by this evening. We can even transport your car. The second they mentioned laying a finger on his car, he's like, fuck you, man. I'm setting this thing on for no one's taking this, Yeah.
Setting my tapes on fire.
And again, and that's the other thing, is I think there's a lot of people, like, because they're setting us up for him to be able to speak English well enough to Carol.
Sure.
I don't know. The tapes. Yeah, I feel like this guy, he's driven enough. He owns this. I imagine he didn't just start it yesterday, right? He's probably been kind of working on it a little bit. So
yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to be just fine with him arriving to Carol enough to have a conversation. But I do wonder, like, what is the line between passive aggressive, and aggressive aggressive that really trips these guys' circuit breakers? Because this is way worse, especially than Carol's second breakout, where she just kind of like, leave me the fuck alone, and was like pushing them away, but wasn't like this, where he's like saying, you guys are pond scum, you guys are not human, you guys need to you guys are all a bunch of invaders.
Yeah, I don't know where the line is, but he doesn't even just burn his beloved car here. He burns, the final image we're left with here is the saint burning. He's willing to burn his God, his religion. Like, there is nothing on the planet or above it or below it that could move this man.
Yeah. He and then we get that when there's the other scene that, like, got me. He's got that fucking machete in the fire, and he's using, I'm assuming it's did he steal a rear, like, did he break off the side mirror of his car? But he's got like a car, and he's using his mirror to like burn his back, and like, and what good did it do him?
Yeah,
it didn't. Like, next day he's dead on his feet, and when he finally collapses, that's when the thing comes to him. Oh. No, there's no way. When I was making the I was just like, that just, it sounds like when I was imitating the signal.
Oh. Yeah.
Is there some kind of, no, that can't, like, he can't have seen his own future.
No.
Like, there's not a frequency you can tune in on that, right?
I don't think so. Some people
Okay.
are going wild with theories, but I think that's a little too wild.
Yeah, and sometimes your co-host is not above it. But yeah, he passes out. Helicopter is going to medevac him. So again, I don't know if that is him failing the third temptation, or if these are the angels coming to minister him, or what. But I'm just letting you guys know. Also, you made fun of me for calling this tree the Chumbawamba. That is one of the local names for it.
I had a look. Oh, really?
Yeah,
The Chumbawamba tree.
Chanta, the Chontadura, the
Of
Conquillo,
the
Palma
tub thumping
Negro.
crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chumbawamba. I would not call that band after this tree. Now that I know what this tree is, that's crazy.
I would extra call it that.
Really?
I would make entirely different music if I were them, but
All right. Go thump
It's a
a
cool
toe,
band
would you?
name. Can I say we're gonna jump ahead like a month in this next scene when we get back to Carol, but that raises the question: what the hell is happening with Manusos for a month? Obviously, they're gonna airlift him to a hospital. They're gonna try and save his life.
Oh
That
no.
takes-
I think you're supposed to understand he spent 40 days making that trip.
All 40 days in a car?
Well, if it's not, then my Jesus metaphor doesn't work, Jim, and that's clearly right. So
Okay. I mean, you could be right. God, he took his sweet time. I guess he did walk a fair bit of it to siphoning gas.
I was thinking 100 kilometers through the dairy. How many kilometers a day could you average bushwhacking through? You're having to machete
Yeah, but he
cut
doesn't
through
make it
stuff.
through.
And you're crossing
We have-
rivers. Well, but I think he made it too, because they say that the Panama side's the mountainous side. I think he made. They told a story of him making it the way through the swampy, kind of marshy Colombia side to the mountains of the. So I think he's almost through.
Okay.
But I guess I don't know why I'm saying that, other than I really want my
if-
40 days in the wilderness to work.
If topographically it works, it makes sense. No one is going to know that if they're a casual watcher of the show.
Yeah, but I think also if someone said it's going to take it's 100 kilometers through this desert or through this thing. By the way, it's something like 105 degrees and 98% humidity. Like, there's no way this guy can make more than 3 or 4 miles a day.
No.
And
I
that's-
agree. If he's
Okay.
almost through, then that could easily take 40 days plus a drive to.
I bet the trip to the Gap took him about a week. But yeah. But I took it as like the 40 days are now where Carol's at. But that could be wrong. Are we ready to talk about Carol?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because it is 48 days, 16 hours, and 57 minutes later. Carol is, I don't know. She's
Listening to Booyah Jams 2006 Volume 2.
yeah, this is, I guess I was going to say from a younger day, but not really. This is from her late 20s.
Sure.
This pre-Helen. I don't have a good grasp on when she met Helen.
Yeah, same
But
here.
I thought it was interesting the way she's passing her time is very traditional post-apocalypse. Like this is Will Smith hitting golf balls off the Enterprise or whatever. This is something like some kind of wantonly public delinquent behavior that would be stopped in an instant, but no one's going to stop you from smashing golf balls through high-rise buildings. So why not do it?
Yeah, and it is in stark contrast to how we've seen Kumba indulge in this newfound freedom, right? He does not tear things down, really. He's just out to experience pleasure, whereas
He connects.
Carol
She
is
withdraws.
looking to smash things. She's angry. She's violent.
Yeah.
Not
She
heroic.
goes get drunk at night on her cul-de-sac, and she's got all this ring of mortar launchers around her. And she lights them all off at once, and she's just sitting in the middle, and it's like there's no joy here. She's just drinking, and she just like uses her toe to kick over 15 degrees to watch the next one, and then she notices one of them falls over and points right at her. Mm-hmm. And she essentially plays a game of Russian roulette with this just giant shell, and it misses her, but like it was a awesome shot. I don't know how they composited it together, but that utterly looked like she was like 2 inches away from taking a firework right to her head.
Yeah. A massive one. That thing hits you, you're done.
Yeah, I would think it would. I don't know if it'd kill you, but it would probably blind, deafen, and third-degree burn. I don't know, right at your head. Yeah, I don't know. You probably wouldn't survive that.
Based on what it did to the garage, yeah.
True.
That thing lit up like a firework.
But I feel like that was like a coin flip to her, because it didn't look like she was suicidal. It looked like she's like, well, this is the perfect. I don't know whether I should live or die. So she's like Two-Face. I'm just going to let life flip a coin. And when something came over her when it missed, because I thought it's interesting that instead of letting a house burn, she fought the fire. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's like the first kind of like showing that Carol maybe has some, she's not going to abandon the hope. She's not going to just let things be destroyed for her own amusement, because that's not the type of person she is. And then next day, she goes back to where she picked up Helen's memorial, gets a 5-gallon bucket of paint and some rollers and some extensions, and she spells out "come back" on her cul-de-sac in giant, visible from space letters. And sometime later, Zosha comes back.
Yeah. I guess this is the demonstration of change of heart that they were looking for. A polite request to come back.
Yeah. And it didn't, that's the thing, because I was thinking, because I clearly saw that she was writing something out, right? Yeah. I'm like, is she saying, I'm sorry, I miss you? I did, because like,
fuck you.
I thought come back is like the most matter-of-fact, non-groveling way you can say, I wish I miss you. You know, like you don't say I'm sorry. You don't even say I miss you. You just say come back.
Yeah.
I'm giving you permission. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked it. I was also wondering if maybe she was like returning to creating art, and this was going to be some kind of like, because she's looking at the George O'Keeffe painting.
You're right.
And we know she is a creative person, and she has completely been without that since Helen's death. So I wonder if this was like some memorial she was doing, and or just for her own. Like she had tried all the other things to distract her, and now trying her art.
Put a fresco out there on your street. Why not? No one's going to stop you.
Sure. Yeah, but no, it wasn't that. Something probably more interesting. I don't know.
It's interesting because Zosha pulls up in a little blue Econo box, and she gets out. She's at the end of the driveway, and Carol comes out. She's on the porch, and they kind of stare down each other like a Wild West shootout. And then Carol starts walking slowly, but you can't. Is she going to go over there punch her? She's going to go over there kiss her? And she keeps that slow kind of like dead face approach until she gets within arm's length, and she just lunges at Zosha and grabs onto her like a drowning person grabs onto a piece of driftwood. Like, and I've heard that solitary confinement is up there with the cruelest of punishments you can give people, because we just are social creatures. It's very cruel to keep us separated. She spent 40 days essentially in isolation, and as much as we want to say that Carol hates people, she needs people. She needs people. She needs people. She's not over that. She does need to be around people. And
yeah, I think the interesting thing about the situation she's in is that it might teach her. It might be the solution to a problem she had before. You know, it might show her that how she was living her life beforehand, reliant simply on this one person of Helen to be everything to her, was a mistake.
Yeah.
But boy, it's a high price to pay for that realization for a single person.
And that's, like I said, that's the one thing that we talked a little bit on the feedback, and you talked about on Pete's little round table he hosts on Sunday nights about Pluribus, that like I guess there's this idea that Carol might be planning this as like a long-term rope-a-dope.
It's possible.
After this scene, I find that very hard to believe, because I don't think Carol's this good of an actor, unless she's like, I'm not that good of an actor, so I have to isolate my. It's going to be crucial to my plan. Now I backed them off. They can't convert me. I've got to get desperate enough for human contact that I feel like I'm almost suicidal. Then I can call them. They'll see that but that seems ridiculous. I think she's going through a natural process. Now, I don't know also, now that she's gotten some contact, I don't know what she will think about dealing with the hive mind. I still think there's a lot of their shit that's going to drive them crazy. But I just kept on thinking, like, what would Manusos think if he pulled up right now and he sees this Carol sobbing, holding on to this devil?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's why it's going to be super interesting, and why I like the juxtaposition of these two plots next to each other in this episode, because it tells us that there's going to be a problem when they meet back up. It wouldn't have been a problem a month ago, but it's a problem now. And it's really well done, even if, I feel like they made that point several times over. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes forward.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our coverage this week of Pluribus. We hope you join us next week. We also will have another feedback episode out at some point in the midpoint week between now and the next episode. You can send feedback to pluribus@baldmove.com. That's what you're supposed to do. Pluribus@baldmove.com is how you send us feedback. And if you would like to get zero ads and extra content, like exclusive podcasts where we talk about TV that we haven't talked about on a public stream, or first run movies, or I don't know, us getting drunk and watching Christmas movies and hanging out with the fan base on Fridays. All this and more can be yours by going to support.baldmove.com. It's way easier to get through than the Darien Gap. It's like a click or two. No Chumbawambas are involved
of any type.
No intercession by saints or Sabbatine privileges required. Support.bald. You just need a credit card, really. Support.baldmove.com. That's been the week. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week. Until that time, I am your host, Aaron.
And I'm Jim.
See ya.